up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we are going to be reviewing Ghostbusters Blackout, designed by Jon Cohn and published by IDW Games. Now, this is based on the IDW Ghostbusters comic book series, so there is some new faces in this. Some from previous versions of Ghostbusters, and I believe some of them are exclusive to the current comic book. With that being said, I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who will tell you more about the game itself.
So it's a cooperative game that plays 1 to 4 players in about 30 to 45 minutes. And it's intended, according to the box, for ages 12 and above. I think you could probably get away with 9, 10 years old.
I think you could even go a little younger if they're experienced gamers, but that's just me.
He's always the optimist about what kids can handle.
Hey, I liked playing games like this when I was a kid, so you never know.
They didn't really have games like this when you were a kid.
Oh, they did. Mm-hmm. They did. In any case, just to tell you a little bit more about what you're going to be doing in the game, well, there's a blackout in New York City. The ghosts have escaped the containment unit. You must capture 15 of them before the chaos level in the city rises to 20, and there is pandemonium in New York. To do that, you will be rolling dice, using those dice to move around the city, purchase equipment, and capture ghosts. Did I forget anything there, Julie?
I think that sums it up.
Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward game. And with that being said, we're going to grab our drink, grab our fellow Ghostbuster. We're going to take it to the table. So, you ready for this one? You excited? I mean, we had a Ghostbusters card game. Wasn't really what we were looking for, but...
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right, let's take it to the table. Now let's take a look at the components for Ghostbusters Blackout. Now we'll start with the rulebook. On the back of the rulebook, you do have a handy quick reference guide. I do like the art that we get for the rulebook. Feels very much like the comic series. Everything is straightforward, easy to figure out, nice, big examples, no small text. So that does help a lot with the accessibility of the game. Here's the game board. You'll see there's spots for the ghosts, chaos that can be generated in the burrow, and it tells you how to move around the burrow. Now, the only thing we can't see really is the chaos and the ghost track, but don't worry about it. When we go into the how to play, you'll see the board in all of its glory. Now, here we've got the ghost cards and the equipment cards. So 2 different types of cards in the game. You can see an example of the ghost right here and the equipment here. Now, this track here tells you what you need to do in order to capture the ghost. You've got any negative effects that they cause listed on the bottom of the card. So for example, the Stay Puft Marshmallow, it'll take 5 streams from the Proton Pack, including 2 colored ones to capture. With the 5 Points Killer, it's 3 streams and a trap, but it can be of any color. Now, with the Proton Grenade and the Boson Caster, you won't be able to purchase these for the cost of the PKE meters. Now, don't worry, we'll take a look at the dice in just a moment. I just want to wrap up what we've got here for tokens. So this is the reroll tokens that will come into play at a certain point. Possession tokens in case your Ghostbuster is possessed. We have these tokens which go on the Ghost Capture track and cause different effects to come into play. So for example, Ghostbusters cannot reduce chaos for 1 round. Immediately discard all PKE meters rolled this round. And Ghostbusters cannot use any equipment for 1 round. Now these go on the 5 and the 10 slot and make the game a little bit more challenging. Now we've got the capture track meter, just a token to track how many ghosts we've captured, as well as the chaos track marker. Now we have 4 standees, one of the 4 different colors of dice. So as you can see, they correlate. Now one thing to mention about the standees, you'll notice, I've actually worn them in a bit, so this one's finally gotten a little loose, which is good. A little tighter, but it's still difficult to get open, which is something I didn't like because it actually already damaged Egon here, so the standees are not very good in my opinion. Now I'll just jump across to the dice since we're talking about colors. So you can see there's 5 dice for each character. You will always have to play with 4 characters. And as you can see on the yellow dice, we have different symbols. So we have the ghost symbol, trap, Ecto 1, PKE meter, and then 2 of the streams, which are used for different things. We'll talk about that more in the how to play. But the only ones that have, well, not the only ones, but like the Ecto 1, PKE meter, and the Ghost have an effect outside of being able to be used to capture ghosts. Now I've divided the characters into 2 stacks. The game comes with 8. So we do have the original Ghostbusters, of course, Egon, Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Winston Zeddemore. Now you'll see their special ability listed here that can be used once per round. And then just a quick reference guide, which I really like. So it's your player aid as to what you can do with your dice. So I like that. And as you can see, we've got 4 standees, 1 for each of them. Now, we've got some more Ghostbusters. Now, as this is based on the IDW comic books, I don't know all the characters. So we've got Janine Melnitz as a Ghostbuster, Kylie Griffin, Melanie Ortiz, and Ron Alexander. And once again, we've got these standees for all of these characters. So there you have it. That's what you get in the box for Ghostbusters Blackout. Now keep it right here as I'm going to be coming back at you with our how to play. Now let's take a look at how you set up Ghostbusters Blackout. Now as you can see, we've got our equipment cards that we need. We've got our ghost cards, our 5 dice, the possession token, chaos and the capture track, and the reroll tokens. Now we need to start with all 4 of the Ghostbusters placed in Manhattan. We then need to place the chaos tracker at 1. We will place the ghost capture tracker just near the board. It doesn't start at 1. It only goes there once you actually capture something. We need to then shuffle up the tiles that we have here. And what we're going to do, then just place them on the 5 and the 10 spot. All the unused ones will go back in the box. Now, we will need to deal out 4 equipment cards. And I'm just going to put that one at the top just to keep things nice and neat. Let's get these tokens moved a little closer. And now we need to set up the ghosts. So we're going to draw a ghost card. And we lay them out clockwise as we go around the board. And there you have it. We've now set up Ghostbusters Blackout. So keep it right here as we're going to come back at you with our how to play. Now let's take a look at how you play Ghostbusters Blackout. Now the game's set up. We do have the quick reference guide that just gives you a nice order to everything. Now, the first phase is spawning ghosts, which was taken care of during the setup. You do need to check the text because there may be some effects that happen before the next round of the game. So, for example, we have Idulnas here, and it says, before rolling at the beginning of each round, all Ghostbusters in this burrow must discard a die. Meaning, if anyone was starting there, we would have to discard a die. So the next part of the round is we're going to roll all of the Ghostbusters dice. Then we're going to activate the Ghostbusters. After that, we do the cleanup. And this is just the rules here for possession. So let's get started, and we're going to roll the Ghostbusters dice. I'm going to keep the dice probably near each character or on top of them. So we've got Winston. Yellow is Mr. Peter Venkman. Blue is Melanie Ortiz. And red is Kylie Griffin. Now, each Ghostbuster has a special ability that they may trigger during a round. The ecto symbol is what they're going to use to move from burrow to burrow. You can also discard 2 dice of any type in order to be able to move. Now, you can also discard 1 die, and then you will re-roll all of your dice. So those are the actions that you can take. They are all detailed right here. And the PKE meter can also be used to purchase cards. Now, each Ghostbuster must fully resolve their activation. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Winston because his special ability is a free movement. So we're going to take the green, we're going to place it on the Mega Spook. We shall move over to Zool and Vince because they actually possess people. So possess the nearest Ghostbuster every round. If multiple Ghostbusters are equidistant, choose only one to become possessed. So this only gets resolved in phase 4. We've rolled the dice. We're now on to phase 3. Now, typically, if you want to re-roll, you would do it now. I believe I like everything that I got. So we're going to leave it as is. I don't see the harm in resolving one Ghostbuster and then deciding to re-roll, but those are the rules of the game. So what we're going to do with Winston now, we're going to place to stream and the trap. Now, I did make a mistake. What I should have done is gotten rid of this extra dice. Now, the reason for that is when you share a zone, well, a burrow with a Ghostbuster, you may give them one of your die, which is something that can be very powerful. The ghost train we potentially want to take out. Not quite enough here. Not quite enough there. So we do have some pretty cool things that we can do, but I could have given this die to another character. So just for the sake of stuff and keeping things making sense, we'll say I've given it to Peter Venkman. So now we're going to have Peter's turn. What Peter's going to do is also place a yellow die on the Mega Spook. To get rid of it, he's going to move here. Now you notice I placed both Winston and Peter on top of the chaos. It's just because when you've got a Ghostbuster in that zone, you will not be generating chaos, which is a good thing. You can then place our dice. He was able to move with the car, so we'll just move it over here. And that means this ghost is now going to be captured at the end of the round. So things are looking good. We are progressing in the right direction. Now, let's see what else we potentially want to do here. Well, we're going to go with Kylie Griffin. Now, she may change one of her rolled dice to the Ghostbuster symbol. And with Peter, I could have given a die to someone else, but didn't make sense. I didn't want to. She's then going to move, spending her red die, which we'll place right here. She's going to place two streams there. She can then make this the ghost symbol, meaning we are well on our way to defeating the giant murder clown. Leaving last but not least, Melanie Ortiz, who will place a die here to defeat the ghost. And I've got a few different options here, but we're going to discard 2 dice. In order to be able to move, we'll place the trap. And we are going to spend our last PKE meter to purchase the proton grenade. So ignore text on a ghost in your burrow this round. So she has to discard it to do it. So just for the sake of keeping things clean, I'm going to just place this off camera. So we are now on phase 4 cleanup. So we have to remove all captured ghosts. We do remove Zool and Vins. We remove Idulness. And we remove the Mega Spook. We will then advance our capture track to 3. Now, what we then need to do, as you can see here in the cleanup, so we increase the chaos marker by 1 for each burrow with a ghost that doesn't have a Ghostbuster in it, and from any ghost ability text. Now, as there is only one burrow that has a ghost and no Ghostbuster, we increase this by 1. Now, the ghost train causes 1 chaos per round. Then you must clear out all dice placed on the ghost, which we did not do, so we increase the chaos to 3. The giant murder clown means Ghostbusters cannot leave this burrow while this ghost is in play, and it also causes 1 chaos per round. So this is essentially how you're going to play the game. We now need to start resetting everything. No one was possessed. So before we go on, I'm just going to talk a little bit about possession. So if a character becomes possessed, the only way to become not possessed is by spending the ghost symbol, which can be used to either reduce the chaos or remove your possession. Now, it doesn't say that on the board, so let's double check right here. Until they roll and discard a ghost logo die. So a possessed Ghostbuster may still reroll, move, purchase equipment, reduce chaos, and share a die with another Ghostbuster, but you can't bust any ghosts when you're possessed. So that's what happens if you do become possessed. It's a good thing that we stopped it. So quick reiteration, you can get rid of it by discarding the ghost symbol, or if you have a depossessor, you can immediately remove possession from all Ghostbusters. So we will also need to reset the pool of equipment as we purchase one, which will happen during our cleanup phase. Now, we're going to cut right here, and we're going to come back at you with a quick how to play another round of the game, followed by Julie and I giving you our review. And we're back with our second round of Ghostbusters Blackout. So what we need to do is now spawn ghosts once again in the clockwise order. We'll then return all dice not in play to their respective characters. And we're going to start by rolling the dice. So we don't have anything that activates before. We are in good shape. We've got the roll from Mr. Venkman. From Melanie Ortiz. Hopefully get a trap from Kylie, and whew, that was lucky. And we'll get Winston's roll. Now, for the sake of expediency, we're going to start with Kylie Griffin. She's going to defeat the giant murder clown, and she's going to spend the ghost symbol to reduce the amount of chaos by 1. Straightforward, very nice and simple turn for her. Now, let's take a look at what we've got with Peter. There's not too much that he can do here. And we'll see at the end of each round, but before chaos is caused, all Ghostbusters in this burrow must move to an adjacent burrow. It's fine. It needs to be sort of taken out right at once. We need a red from Kylie. So what we'll do is we're going to spend this and this for movement. Oh, whoops. It's interesting. Do we actually have the ability to take out the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Doesn't quite matter, sorry. We're going to spend the 2 streams for movement. Now, what we could have done using Peter's ability was given a stream, though, to either Winston or Melanie to let them defeat the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But I want to... Well, you know what? Let's reevaluate this quickly, because I think Stay Puft is actually more dangerous. So we're going to, on Peter's turn, he's going to give a die to Melanie. He is going to then spend 2 die to move. And see what we can do about this ghost shark. I think we're in a good place by doing that. So we will have Melanie place her yellow die. Melanie will place her blue die. She will place her other blue die. Which is only, it's just okay. I don't really like what I've got set up, but we didn't decide to reroll, so we'll go with what we got. We'll reduce the chaos by 1. And we can essentially move twice. So we'll move to where the ghost train is just to stop the chaos. Now that leaves us with Mr. Winston Zettermore. And looking at everything that Winston's got, the thing that makes the most sense would be to re-roll. as we take a look at that. So it's reroll dice at the beginning of a Ghostbusters activation. So it's perfect. We can do it right now. We kind of need more stream. We need to get something better. And that is a lot better because it lets us take out the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And we've got 2 PKE meters. And we're going to get the long range PKE, which means once per activation, you may use 1 stream on ghosts from 1 burrow away. Pretty cool. Can let people help out. We spend the 2 dice. So now we need to go into the cleanup phase. Remove the captured ghosts. So you can see we've now gone to this point, so we need to reveal this. So Ghostbusters cannot move burrows for 1 round. Well, that is going to be a giant pain in the butt. We must now take a look at the areas that do not have a Ghostbuster with a ghost in it. So we do generate 1 chaos here, and he doesn't have any other abilities on it. We do cause 1 chaos from the ghost train, but then 3 chaos from the ghost shark, knocking us up to 7. Now, once we get to this point on the chaos track 15, we would get the free reroll die, as the game's getting harder, meaning the Ghostbusters can discard it for a free reroll. Now we'll just get set up for the next turn. So all our dice that aren't in play are going to go back to the characters. We will reveal another piece of equipment. And it's going to be time for us to respawn the ghosts. So once again, we respawn them clockwise. And it would then be our turn to start rolling dice and trying to capture these ghosts. Don't forget that on turn 3, Ghostbusters will not be able to move for 1 round. Now, I think we've covered enough about how to play. As you can see, it's fairly straightforward. So with that being said, Julie and I are now coming at you with our review of the game. So Julie, who are you going to call?
Oh no, I'm not calling Ghostbusters.
You're not calling Ghostbusters? Why not?
Because I'm a Ghostbuster.
You're a Ghostbuster.
Uh-huh.
All right, so what did you think of Ghostbusters Blackout?
Well, I thought it was very thematic, obviously. It does capture the IP well, in my opinion. I don't know the comic book, but it had the characters I know from Ghostbusters. You know, was happy to see the Marshmallow Man, and there was Gozer and Vigo. So I mean, for me,
Slimer. Can't forget Slimer.
Slimer. That's what I was thinking about too. Slimer came out. So that's cool. I mean, it's a quintessential Ghostbuster theme. For the game itself, it's definitely very easy to learn, very easy to get to the table. It doesn't, you can play with pretty much anybody. So I think that's a positive if that's something that you're looking for.
Yeah, this is definitely a family weight game. There are other games out there that are similar to this. I would say this one is lighter than most. And even the box time, I think if you play this a lot, you could probably play this game in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe 20.
Yeah, I don't think 15. That being said, I mean, it's
we played it very quickly.
Yeah, you're rolling dice once, unless you're discarding a dice and then you get to roll 1 more time. So there's
you can keep going. Actually, we just at a certain point you start running out of resources.
And then you can potentially buy cards. We didn't do a whole lot of that because...
let's be honest. The equipment sucks. Right.
Well, there's some that wasn't that bad, but...
But how many times did we honestly use equipment in the game? I played a few games now more than you. I think I've used equipment maybe once or twice
you played
per game.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've played once per game equipment in the games that we've played. So anyways, that being said, I mean... this isn't a very fancy game. I mean, you've got cardboard minis.
Standees.
Standees, okay. You always have the exact term.
I do. It's my job.
Okay. I mean, the dice are just, regular old dice that are, colored for your character, but they're nothing really special.
No, you could have used D6s, but there are two sides that are the same, so that's why they get custom dice.
So that being said, like I said, the fact that it isn't complex is a positive for some people. And, if you're looking for a light, easy game to play, one evening or, instead of watching TV or before another more complex game at game night, this could be interesting.
I don't think this, I'm going to straight up disagree with you about game night. This is no place at a game night. I don't think this is a warm-up game. I don't think this is even necessarily that good. I've played it with some gamers and the response really was very tepid. I think this is more of a family weight game if you're having a family game night, but I would not bring this to a game night. I don't think it's going to go over very well.
So the next comment I was going to make is, that being said, I could take it or leave it. I mean, it wasn't that entertaining. It's hard to get invested in this game. When you're playing it, there's not that much in it, I find. So that was a little disappointing for me.
Quick question. Do you think miniatures would have helped you grasp the game a little bit more?
Grasp it? No.
Not grasp it, sorry. Get into, no, the game is very easy to grasp. I meant to say get into the game because we do have Batman the Animated Series, and it's also by IDW. We haven't played that game in a while, but I did feel that the minis and like the three-dimensional terrain sort of bring you more into the world. I'm wondering if you think that
I
would
didn't
help.
care for the three-dimensional part of that game. I think in this case it's just so simple that it's not really. I think we're both past this level of game, and there are other more simple, easy games that I'd rather pick up instead of something like this. It was meh for me. I think it's a bad term, but that's basically that's the description for this game.
And I can't disagree with you because, in all honesty, this game is pretty much like Elder Sign. Take out all the complexity, make it easy, and just really crank the whole end game mechanic in terms of the track filling up to 11 because it fills up that much faster. So I really can't say that I'm a fan of the design of the game. As Julie says, accessibility, it's way up there. There's a lot of great representation in the game. I do like the fact that we've got a fairly even balance between female and male Ghostbusters. You're never going to get a true balance because, the property started with 4 guys, so that's where we're going to be always in that respect, at least any iteration that follows the original. And I don't think that it does anything particularly new. I find that some of the Ghostbusters abilities are very take it or leave it. I think you were fairly disappointed when you looked at Janine's ability and it was like gain 1 equipment. You were like, there you go. And there's definitely Ghostbusters that have stronger abilities than others. For example, Winston always having a free move is fantastic. Peter Venkman being able to give someone a die anywhere on the map, like, why would I play with other characters? And I think that's a hindrance to a game like this. Also, I'm not very happy with the component quality. I don't think it's particularly good. As I mentioned in the component review, some of the standees are already damaged because of the plastic stands that they use. The card stock was very flimsy. I've sleeved the cards. I think Julie's only played with the cards sleeved. Part of the reason I did that is I don't think this game is going to find its way quickly out of the collection. I'm sort of keeping it around as a nice family weight game. But there are other games that will probably find their way out that I do enjoy this less. It just really fills a specific niche. And that's probably the kind of thing that I can say about the game. Now, it does capture the theme. You do feel like you're the Ghostbusters, but we have been waiting for a great Ghostbusters game. And unfortunately, I think we can both agree, this is not it. It is just fine, meh. It's got a decent price point, about $25 or $25 to $30 US. So it's not going to break the bank. Could be a nice present for someone. But if you're a gamer looking for a Ghostbusters game or just even a lighter dice chucking game, there are better ones out there. Or if you haven't played Elder Sign, well, we'll have a review coming up on Elder Sign. But it's safe to say get Elder Sign. It's a bestseller for a reason. This one won't be.
I'm ready to give it my review. My
Yep.
rating.
Go ahead. So what is your rating?
It's a 5.
You know what? I've been hesitating between 5.5 and 6, but after really thinking about it, I'm going to be down with you. 5.5. I'm giving it a little bit of a boost for accessibility and the fact that you can pretty much get it to the table with anybody, which I value, but I cannot recommend this game and tell you that you should get it unless, someone's a huge Ghostbuster fan and
I would
they
say,
like easy games.
Do you have kids that love the Ghostbusters and you've loved it as well and you want to share the Ghostbusters experience with kids? I think this is a great game.
Yeah.
Or adults that are definitely not gamers and don't play games, then, this, but still want to play this game, this could be interesting.
Yes. So, Julie, what time is it now?
Well, it's time to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
And down below in the video description, you can take a look for all of our social media feeds. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We've been having some fun on there as of late. If you want to see what we were playing, what we're going to be playing, and even some sneak peeks as to maybe something new that will make its way to the channel in the near future, check them out. Also, you're going to be having links to some other videos that's going to pop up. So there will be a link that will take you back to the Ghostbusters card game that we reviewed from Renegade Games, and then probably something, one of our latest and greatest videos. So what time is it?
It's time to grab our drinks.
Grab our Ghostbuster. And?
Keep playing games.
I was going to say, who are you going to call?
No, you can say it.
So you say.
Who are you going to call?
Not this game.
Oh, okay.
But keep playing other games.
Keep playing games.